The next section in our contract should cover the important issue of copyright. For freelance designers in creative fields, there are lots of concerns such as the type of medium or product where the finished work will be used, the category of use, geographic location, and more. But for web freelancers, the most important issues are the transfer of ownership of the final work and all the assets involved, while you retain the rights to display the work for advertising and promotional purposes. Clients may not be as aware as you are about copyright matters. Horror stories on the web of freelancers getting in trouble for clients handing over assets they have no rights to use shows that you should be putting in effort to protect yourself against any simple copyright violations. Under your copyright section, include a provision with language similar to what follows. You, the client, guarantee that any assets such as text, graphics, photos, designs, trademarks, or any other artwork provided for use in the project belong to you or that you have the permission to use them. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so if you want this in perfect legal terms, it's best to consult one. But that should cover the gist of what we're trying to get across. This way, if someone files a copyright violation when the project goes live, you're not the one in trouble. In this section, you'll also want to mention how copyright is assigned regarding the project you're about to embark on. Standard clauses inform the client that upon the final payment, the client owns all the graphics and other visual elements created for the project. Mention that all originals will be handed over to the client. I've seen clauses that indicate that the client is responsible for those files because the freelancer is not expected to hold on to them on completion of the project. The client also owns the text content, photographs, and any other data provided unless it was licensed from a third party. However, you, the freelancer, will own any of the markup, CSS, and any code produced, and you are licensing it to the client for use. Those are pretty much the basic industry-standard methods of solving copyright issues. But that's not all that's left. And I've lumped it all into one section called legal stuff because there's no real common theme here, so let's go over a few different things. First, there's authorization. There are clients out there who think that because they're hiring you to work on a project, that you are essentially their employee. This is hardly the case. Indicate to the client that you are contracting with you to provide a service. You are thereby authorized to provide these services and can access the resources necessary to do so. You might also want to indicate that because the client is hiring you as an independent contractor, they can't control where, how, and when you work. As odd as that sounds, it can be a problem. Then there's content. You'll want to indicate who will provide the content, whether it's the client, you, or someone else's responsibility. Since a lack of content can hold you back on your work, you should also indicate if there are any penalties for not receiving the content on time. Now, all the good and important legal stuff should go here as well. Do your best to protect yourself. Here are some few example clauses from other contracts. We can't guarantee that the functions contained in any web page templates or in a completed website will always be error-free, and so we can't be liable to you or any third party for damages, including lost profits, lost savings, or other incidental consequential or special damages arising out of the operation of or inability to operate this website and any other web pages, even if you have advised us of the possibilities of such damages. Now that is from Andy Clark's killer contract, which I'll provide in the links below. You might also want to say that if the client tries to update the site themselves or hires another person to work on the site who then breaks the stuff, you are not responsible for these damages. You could fix it, but it will cost more. Finally, state the jurisdiction where any legal action related to the relationship and project should be filed. You could look across different templates across the web for this language, but it's quite important to take the time to understand it, or if you don't care for it, at the very least get a lawyer to put something together for you. Take some time and familiarize yourself with contracts. Draft up a few templates that you can quickly modify and send to get started on a project. As I mentioned earlier, the level of detail you want to go into with your contracts really depends on the clients and the type of project, so have different templates ready. Start with a short template, a few paragraphs long, that covers the essential topics. You can send this one over to small clients or ones that you have long-standing relationships with. Build your way up to the most thorough contract you would like to have that serves as a great baseline for long and extensive projects. Now, as you gain experience, you can modify your contracts to reflect your needs best. There's just a few things left before we wrap this up.